Hello, Internet Wrestling Nerds. My name is Ted, and you've just entered the fucking Wrestling Exchange. I'm here with my co-host.
Papo in the house. Welcome back, everybody. We got an awesome show for you today. Welcome to Monday Night Filler.
Woohoo! My man's got it exactly right. It's a lot of filler. But before we get started, just a couple of quick things right off the top. This right here is a pro wrestling webcast, livecast, podcast, whatever the hell you want to call it. We talk about wrestling, specifically Raw and pay-per-views. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down Raw segment by segment and talk about the good, the bad, and the fugly, which is also my favorite segment, my favorite part of the show, which we save for the end. We also are going to discuss our predictions for Elimination Chamber, 2015 WWE Network exclusive that's not even going to appear on pay-per-view. That's going to be really interesting. We're also going to talk quickly about Samoa Joe's WWE NXT debut and the cancellation of TNA Impact Wrestling. That being said, please take a moment, like this video, subscribe. You'll get a notification letting you know when each video gets posted, so that way you can keep up with all this good stuff with my handsome face and his handsome face. Papa, say something. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if at any point you agree with us, you disagree with us, or you just want to talk about how handsome we are, go ahead in the comment section down below and clickety-clackety on the keyboard. While you're at it, you can follow the links. You can go to the Facebook page, start a conversation with us. Maybe even better yet, you want to send us an email saying, hey, Ted and Papo, I got questions. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? You can do so by going to the description box, seeing that link, tedandpapo@gmail.com. Send us the emails. We will read them and answer them online. Live on the video. You can visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/TedandPapo, if you're interested in making a donation, which will have us be able to buy a mixer so we can get cool sound effects, better cameras, lighting, so on and so forth, so we look like more than just jerk-off amateurs. Last thing, being that this is a wrestling podcast, it's between two, dare I say, lifelong wrestling fans. It's a very passionate discussion. So 4 little words, bad language, that's just a thing that happens here. And if you're not down with that, my man's just got 2 words for you.
Deep throat.
Boom. I can take it. Papo, what do you want to talk first? Do you want to talk about Samoa Joe's WWE debut, or do you want to talk about TNA being canceled?
Joe's gonna kill you.
All right. So, Papo, I'm not sure, because I know you got a lot going on. You didn't get a chance to check out the latest NXT Takeover Unstoppable, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Basically, he appears at the main event. And what's interesting, Papo, is that he appears with a new shirt by WWE. It says Samoa Joe, Submission Specialist. And first of all, what do you think about him using the Samoa Joe name in WWE? Did you even see that as a possibility?
Well, it shows that he has the name copyrighted, so nobody else can market off that name. So even if he were to leave the WWE, he could still be known as Samoa Joe.
And it is very interesting because it's being reported that that was some sort of deal that Triple H made, that he basically said, we want Samoa Joe to keep his name. Papo, if you had to guess, being that everybody else has to change their name, pretty much everybody but CM Punk and John Cena, I think, has come in and had to change their name. If you had to play the WWE name change game, what do you think Samoa Joe would be called?
The Island Killer.
Does that mean he kills whole islands, or he's a killer on the island?
He's a killer on the island. He would be the equivalent of Saturday the 14th. As opposed to Friday the 13th?
Okay, it's like, is that your birthday? Am I missing some sort of significance? I hear you're turning 50.
Yo, mama.
Hey, man, Samoans age well. Now, that being said, you're awfully skinny for a Samoan, and let's talk about TNA Impact being canceled.
Let's do that, Dick.
Actually, it's cock. Big cock, apparently. So, do you know about this guy, Dave Meltzer? These whole dirt sheet things, Wrestling Observer newsletter?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, basically, he's a dude that says stuff and he's kind of like a quote-unquote wrestling news journalist. I know some of our viewers may not be familiar. And basically, he broke the story just a number of days ago, and the station that TNA is currently on, or excuse me, Impact Wrestling, is called Destination America, and apparently that's like an affiliate of Discovery. I believe it's Discovery Channel. And basically, they wanted TNA to be their flagship show, but apparently, it looks like they're backing out of their multi-year contract with TNA after they recently moved TNA from Fridays to Wednesdays. And it looks like that as of right now, unless things change, TNA will be canceled, or TNA Impact Wrestling will be effectively canceled as of the end of September. Papa, what do you think about all this?
I'm more worried about the wrestlers. I want to know what's going to happen to them. Because if Impact Wrestling is no longer around, then they don't get a paycheck and they can't support their families. So, I mean, there's a couple of good independents out there that can pay them decently. I want to know what McMahon's going to do with some of this talent, because I believe they're kind of rogue-ish, if you will.
Mm. So, a couple of questions, right? Because as you were talking, these kind of came to me. So Jeff Jarrett, he's starting his own promotion, Global Force Wrestling, and he's recently announced a roster. There's not too many names on it. Being that Jeff Jarrett was one of the, for lack of a better word, founding fathers of TNA, do you think there's any chance that a number of these TNA talents will jump ship to Jeff Jarrett's promotion?
There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, these guys have been with Jeff Jarrett for quite some time when it was TNA Wrestling. So these guys will be faithful to Jeff Jarrett and assist him with his promotion.
Any chance that some of these individuals may end up in, say, Lucha Underground?
There's a good chance. Lucha Underground is popping right now, like nobody's business. We also have Ring of Honor, which is coming up, played on Saturday nights. But then again, we still got the monopoly. So let's see where these people head.
Let's play a quick game then. Just totally impromptu, right? You got WWE, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, Global Force Wrestling. You get to pick 4 wrestlers from TNA roster. Who goes where?
That's a good one. Well, we already got Samoa Joe in WWE. That's my main, one of my favorites.
Can we count Samoa Joe? Hold on, I'm going to ask the judges. Okay, yes, the judges will allow it. We can count Samoa Joe for WWE.
Samoa Joe, WWE. We have Kurt Angle. I believe may go back to WWE.
Oh, don't tease me.
I would love it, dude. We got I'm trying to think of some of the
You mind if I help you out?
X Division champions.
Let's go crazy. What about Zema Ion, Lucha Underground?
I could totally see that.
What about Kurt Angle, Ring of Honor?
I think Ring of Honor is beneath him.
But do you think that would be a very interesting shot in the arm for Ring of Honor?
Yes,
possibly do for them what it did for TNA, although it wasn't long-lasting, but it could be argued that maybe Ring of Honor would handle someone like him better, maybe appears maybe 3-4 times a year.
It would be a comfortable shot of steroid to Ring of Honor.
Do you see any place for I'm just going to throw out a couple names. ODB, because she's one of my favorites. Any place for her? Maybe WWE, possibly?
I don't see WWE. I see Ring of Honor, maybe Global.
Okay. What about Eric Young?
Eric Young, I see Lucha Underground.
Last one. What about, and I know they're no longer a team right now, what about Beer Money? Sorry about your damn look.
They're a decent tag team. I see either NXT or Ring of Honor.
Oh, man, I would love to see them in NXT. That would be fucking awesome. And come out with beer bottles. It would be amazing.
Sorry about your damn look.
All right. Well, speaking about our damn luck, we got a Raw that's full of filler. So let's not wait any longer. Let's get right to it, shall we?
Let's.
So this is the Memorial Day edition of Monday Night Raw. Raw starts with pretty much everybody and their mother on the roster quoting from Ronald Reagan from a speech he made in 1982. And the actual show, or at least the first segment on the show, starts with an Authority in-ring segment. Now, basically, the Authority is reacting to what Dean Ambrose did last week, right, where he essentially used Rollins as a hostage to negotiate a match with Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Elimination Chamber. And basically what happens is that they tell Ambrose that all he needs to do is, because it's not yet official, there hasn't been a contract signing, that all Ambrose needs to do is come down to the ring to sign it. Problem is that in the ring you've got Triple H, Stephanie, Kane, Rollins, and J&J Security. Now Ambrose comes out on stage and he basically takes a few jabs at everybody in the Authority and then decides that it might be worth it to risk life and limb to enter the ring to sign the contract. It's at this point that his buddy, Roman Reigns, shows up. And Stephanie McMahon basically makes it official. She says, if you don't sign this contract by the end of the night, you're not going to get your match. We're doing an extra stipulation here. And then she books Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, 2/3 of the Shield, versus Kane and Seth Rollins. Papo, I gotta say, is this a match that we've seen yet as far as these exact members?
Yes, it is.
Have we? Have we seen? I know we've seen Kane and Rollins, but have we seen Ambrose and am I just being beaten over the head and I'm just an amnesia-riddled WWE fan?
No, they haven't technically got together and been a tag team, but they've been in multiple tag team, like 3-on-3, 4-on-4.
Okay, so it's been like different variations. Different combinations. Okay, so a couple of quick things here. I kind of tuned out for this match. Like I was listening, but I wasn't really watching, or I wasn't emotionally invested in the match itself. Did you feel the same way, or did you have a different takeaway experience?
Yeah, I mean, again, it lacked luster. There was nothing spectacular about it. I mean, it was just very bland, especially for these four individuals to be in a squared circle. It was kind of weak.
Yeah. I didn't think it was bad per se. I just really, they didn't do anything to draw me in, to create any investment for me to care. But while I was kind of casually tuning in and out, I was actively listening, and I heard a number of really weird things that Michael Cole said. Do you mind if I just quickly go over them?
Please do.
So during the match, Cole just super casually mentions this, and if you weren't listening or paying attention, you would not even have known this. He super casually mentions that Reigns will be competing in the Money in the Bank ladder match. This makes me nervous, just because of how it was done. Do you think that's WWE subliminally programming into our brains that Roman Reigns will win the Money in the Bank?
No, it is not subliminal. I like Coca-Cola. I drink Dr. Pepper. I go to McDonald's. It's not subliminal at all.
Is it problematic that they're already talking about Money in the Bank when we haven't even yet had Elimination Chamber? Or does this not count because Elimination Chamber isn't going to technically be a pay-per-view, being that it's a network exclusive?
Yeah. Right now, I believe it's a shad bit early, especially since we get to deal with the Elimination Chamber. So I'm really not sure where they're going with this. So, I mean, again, I believe it's subliminal messages saying that Roman Reigns is going to win.
Okay. And I also think that Michael Cole is definitely trying to brainwash us here, because he's just trying to impart to us some incredible WWE revisionist history. I don't know if you caught this, but I do want to briefly discuss this. Cole actually has the fucking balls to say, quote, Many believed that Reigns was going to defeat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania before Seth Rollins cashed in. And I thought to myself, really, Michael Cole? I don't know anybody that thought that. Papo, give it to
Suplex
me
City,
straight.
bitch. Suplex
Oh!
City, bitch.
Did you have any inkling? Because I don't remember what your prediction was going into WrestleMania 31 or just WrestleMania play button. Do you know anybody that actually thought that Reigns was going to win that match? Like, because I can only suspend my disbelief so far.
Only a handful of people, dude. Only a handful of people. And half of those people that's a part of that handful are females.
Is the other half consistent of children who are still in school?
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought that was whack. I just couldn't believe he said that. Like, come on, Michael Cole. Like, nobody bought that. Nobody over the age of 18 thought for a second, or excuse me, with a penis over the age of 18 thought for a second that Roman Reigns stood a chance. At least nobody I have ever talked to. Ambrose picks up the win for his team with a backslide. Does anybody, if Ambrose wins with a backslide in the forest, does anybody care?
The shit does that the bear did.
Do you want to talk about the fact that it looks like Elimination Chamber is not even going to be available on pay-per-view distributors, or do you want to talk about this next segment? Your choice.
Let's talk about the next segment.
Okay. Renee Young goes to interview Dean Ambrose backstage, talking about him having to sign the contract by the end of the night, and he's interrupted by J&J Security, and he kind of kicks the shit out of them. Papa, what did you think about this? Because it sounded like they were like, oh, well, we were going to give you the contract. Whoops, I don't have it.
You do a good Noble.
Didn't he say, why don't you call Miss Sally and slap me? Didn't he say something along those lines?
Yes, he did. And then Ambrose said, okay, Sally, and slapped him in his face. It was hilarious.
You know what?
As he's taking...
Who used to be... Didn't Noble have like a valet at one point that used to kick his ass? Oh, God, what was her name? She was pretty country, too.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Can we bring her back? Can she be a part of J&J Security?
Yeah, she'd probably do a better job.
Probably. It's going to come to me by the end of the show. So they basically do this deal where Ambrose turns around and in a fit of rage and confusion accidentally punches the cameraman in the face. Papa, they kind of pulled back with the camera and really let you take this in, and how he was kind of not like distraught, but like, shit, I just punched this guy in the face. What did you think about this whole segment?
It was definitely a twist, a filler, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I mean, he turned around and looked at him. You saw that. So I'm turn around and then punch. So he knew who he was swinging at.
Oh, that you go with that?
Going with that.
You're not gonna go with he just like. Well, you know what? I don't want to get into spoiler territory because this is going to become an issue later on in the show. Let's talk about that Kevin Owens video package. It chronicled his rise, his appearance in NXT, all the way up to what's going on now with John Cena. You and I both know how good WWE is putting these video packages together. Being that you haven't seen a whole lot of Kevin Owens, at least in NXT, what was your takeaway when you were watching this?
Well, I have seen Kevin Owens in NXT a couple of times, and the boy is definitely beast in the ring. So I'm actually looking forward to this rivalry between Owens and Cena for the simple fact that Owens got years on Cena, and it looks as if that he can actually go for him power for power.
Can we make a bold prediction that maybe this is going to be a match of the year candidate?
I would run with that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you guys heard it live. We're making a bold prediction. Cena and Owens match of the year.
Boom. And it hasn't even happened yet. So, yeah. That's a thing. Um, what comes after this is Rusev versus R-Truth, because it's just time to feed black men to Rusev. Couple of things I noticed, because I know, not to take anything away from R-Truth, there really wasn't much that happened here. Did you notice how they kind of Rusev comes out with the Bulgarian flag instead of the Russian flag, and they kind of reinforce the idea that, oh, well, Rusev was from Bulgaria first, and now he's Bulgarian again, that he's separated from being the hero of the Russian Federation, and he no longer wears the whatever that star medal was. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I call it the annexation of Rusev.
So, what I have here in my notes is that when R-Truth comes out, what's up? Papa, you'll be happy to hear this. In my notes, I have, ladies and gentlemen, R-Truth will be playing the part of the sacrificial lamb, and Rusev won in less than 2 minutes with the accolade. Do you think that's a fair assessment, that Rusev was just having truth fed to him?
Dude, he already looks like he eats too many Whoppers. So to watch him eat again, ain't no but a thing.
So we go from something that is not very entertaining to what I think. Well, that's not what I know. To me, that what we're about to talk about was honestly my favorite segment on the show. And you and I did not really talk about this at length before the show, so I don't even know how you feel about this. So here's basically what happens. After the match, Rusev calls out Lana, right? And he begs her to come out. He says, please, Lana, please come out. I need to talk to you. We need to go over a few things. And it goes to commercial. And he says right before the commercial break that, I'm not going anywhere until you come out. So we go to commercial break. We come back. Rusev's still in the ring, right? And he's begging her and begging her and begging her. And then finally Lana comes out. And did you catch that Rusev held the ropes open for her to come in, but she was like, nah, fuck that, and went in a different side of the ring?
I saw that.
So, let's see. And Rusev goes on to say that basically, despite the fact that she made him lose and that she was making out with Ziggler, it's not her fault because she did it because she's a woman, right? And that's just the thing that women do. And because essentially she was just trying to get his attention, according to Rusev. And he says that he knows that she cares about us, referring to, I guess, them, and that they can still live their dreams of crushing America and the Americans. And that Rusev offers his hand, and he says, take my hand, and all will be forgotten. Right up until this point, tell me what's going on in Casa de Papo. What's the Papo? How's the Papo household reacting to this?
Well, at Casa de Papo, we were like, yo, turn on him. Forget him. Put on a bathing suit and a thong. Forget Rusev and his Whopper eating ass.
So you mentioned forget about him and put on a thong. This just occurred to me. Do you think that this is kind of almost that Sable Mark Mera territory?
Very close. Very, very close.
All he's got to do now is put her in a burlap sack. So let's talk about what happens here, right? Now I loved this, right? I'm going to be honest. Because you know what this reminded me of, Papo?
What did it remind you of?
It reminds me of a guy who beats his wife. And don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying I support wife beating. But it reminds me of a guy who beats his wife, and then she just kind of finally is fed up with it, and she's like, "Fuck you, I'm leaving." And then she leaves, and then he comes to wherever she's staying, comes to the hotel room or her parents' house, and he goes, "Baby, I love you. I'm so sorry. I was just being a dick. I couldn't control my emotions."
Baby, come back.
Yeah. Exactly. I couldn't control my emotions, baby. I promise I'll never do it again. And then next week, she's wearing a black eye. I loved this, right? And I'll explain why. But he says, "Baby, I'll change." And Lana takes his hand, and they hug, they embrace, and then Rusev says the best part about this. He says, "Now all I need you to say is those 3 little magical words. I was wrong." Papo, I popped. What happened in
That
your
shit
house?
was funny as hell. We popped over here too. That shit was so funny.
Dude, it was the best. So Lana then rejects Rusev and basically goes to leave him alone in the ring, and she tells him, I was not wrong. You said I quit. Uh, Rusev calls her a liar, and he tried to be nice to her, but she needs to know her own place. No, she needs to know her place and that he owns her and demands she comes back to the ring. Lana comes back to the ring only to tell him, no, you're a liar and a quitter, and you can't even take responsibility for your own actions. I am not yours. I belong to no one. I'm no longer your victim, and I'm never going to listen to you again. Dolph Ziggler comes out onto the stage, and Lana and Ziggler lock lips. I loved it. I loved it because it takes us all the way up into the point where you think that she's gonna take it back and she's gonna admit that she's wrong, but no, she doesn't, and she turns on Rusev. Uh, Papo, have you and I discussed on previous episodes that there's a fear of separating Rusev and Lana because we know Lana's going to do big things, but Rusev may end up falling by the wayside? Have we had that discussion before?
Yes, we have. We
So
touched on it
here,
briefly.
okay, here's what I liked about this segment. Aside from the fact that it just plays on just real world stuff in a humorous and entertaining way, this does something for Rusev, right? Because now the fans have been chanting for weeks on weeks for Lana, for Lana, for Lana. We've seen the writing on the wall. Lana's going babyface. She's going to go play for the good guys. But instead of leaving Rusev with nothing, instead of Rusev walking away from this angle empty-handed, now he's got some heat. Because all of us that like Lana, we're like, don't take him back, Lana, don't do it, and she stands up for herself. And it's very pro-woman thing, but it at least leaves Rusev with some heat. So it's not just a clean break, it's a clean break, and we still have a reason to hate Rusev. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yes, it is. I mean, it keeps his heel persona really, really strong.
As well as his pimp hand. So, follow-up question then. Oh, shit. I had the perfect question in my mind.
Brain fart!
Damn. Fuck. I'm really disappointed in myself. You know what? Let's move on to the cast of Entourage, ladies and gentlemen, arriving in a limo. I know, Papo, that you have every single episode of Entourage in box set, and that you're planning on going to see the Entourage movie.
Well, I will fully admit no, and no, no, fuck no, hell no, hell to the no. Oh, did I mention no?
Not by itself, no. I think you just put it with other words. So after and I'm going to be honest, I don't even know who any of them are, right? I'm sure you've never watched the show. I've never watched the show. I know who Jeremy Piven is, and that's about it. So we'll talk about that later because they do show up again. So Seth Rollins and Triple H confront Ambrose's locker room, and Triple H brings in the cameraman and asks if Dean was the one who punched him in the face. The cameraman was like, yeah, he was the guy that punched me in the face, but it kind of wasn't his fault. I think it was an accident. And Seth Rollins is like, hey, shut your fucking mouth. He punched you in the face. That's not cool. And then, wouldn't you know it, Ambrose is immediately arrested, and apparently this guy is being coerced by Triple H and Rollins to press charges. And the police take Ambrose away in a paddy wagon. Couple of quick thoughts, right? Papo, is the gimmick of being arrested on WWE television overused? Because I think we've been doing this since 1997? 98?
Go back a little bit further.
Were we doing it before then?
Yes.
Damn. Because the earliest one I
yeah.
can think of is with Stone Cold. I can't think of any others.
Yeah, but it's been played out though.
So you do admit that it's kind of fucking played out already.
Yes, I fully admit it's been played out.
Okay, so here's my follow-up question. in a world where grown men, you and I, are invested in watching a program that features other grown men pretending to hurt each other in their underwear, um, is it asking us too much to believe that people just up and get arrested? Is it asking too much for that to happen? Is it too much to suspend our disbelief?
Yeah, but it's the perfect man drama, so they're gonna play to it any way they can. So it is what it is, because we can't do nothing about somebody getting arrested that actually should sign a waiver for the job. Period.
Right? Like logic would tell you that if you're going to work at WWE,
You're gonna
especially
get
if you're
hit.
yeah, especially if you're a cameraman. I mean, we've seen cameramen get injured at fucking WrestleMania. That's a thing. Um, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm with. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Lesnar F5 the cameraman, and he didn't get arrested. He just got suspended.
He did. I forgot all about that. He F5'd the shit out of that cameraman. So last question before we move on. Obviously, the goal is to it's kind of like a MacGuffin, right? Or not a MacGuffin, excuse me. The stipulation of Dean having to sign that contract within the episode. That's the MacGuffin, right? That's the thing that's just plot device to move the episode along. Um, but do you think this is too close to a Stone Cold Dean Ambrose? Do you think this fits the character, or is this playing too much on that? Hey, this guy is kind of like Stone Cold.
It's got that Stone Cold-ish feel to it. I'm in total agreement with that.
So it's got that ish all over it. Is what you're saying?
You got the ish all over it.
All right. Well, let's talk about one ish to another ish. King Barrett versus Ryback. First question though, before we get to the actual match, because I don't really want to talk about it. Is this King of the Ring gimmick helping or hurting Barrett, in your opinion?
It's hurting. He's got a Burger King crown on with the scepter that breaks every episode.
Who do you think wore the King of the Ring gimmick the best? Because I'm kind of torn. Like I have two people in my mind, but if you had to pick one, who do you think was the best at it?
I'm gonna say Booker T, because he enveloped that whole King, changing his accent. It was awesome.
King Booker. I love it. Can we put maybe Macho Man is just a cut hair behind King Booker, King Macho King, like just right behind him.
Yeah, but I mean, but he's still behind Booker because I mean, again, Booker enveloped that character like nobody's business. King Booker.
Booker, and didn't didn't Booker at one point like become King of the Ring, and then he like won the world title and he became like King of the World? Like, wasn't that an implied thing at one point in time?
Yes, it was a brief stint.
Well, he had Charmel, and she's hot as all hell. All right, so getting back to the story, let's talk about King Barrett versus Ryback. I really didn't care for the match, and that's not because I don't like the guys involved. It's just because it was just kind of like an ancillary, throwaway, nothing match. Did you feel the same, or am I alone in this?
No, it was complete filler. I mean, the only thing that I could say was Ryback did sell the rib injury, but other than that, I mean, it just was missing that oomph. I mean, it felt like a filler.
It kind of felt like that in storyline there was no need for these guys to fight each other, right? There's no reason for these two. Like it would be, would it have made? Let's put it this way: would it have made more sense if it was Ryback versus Luke Harper?
Luke Harper or Rowan, either or, it would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, because King Barrett's kind of in this weird storyline with Adrian Neville, but he's also in the Elimination Chamber, Intercontinental title match, but Neville is not. So it's this kind of weird meshing of these kind of other stories are being woven together. It's very weird. I guess they're running low on cast members, for lack of a better term. But I'm with you. What's that?
Shit.
So I'm with you in the fact that yeah, man. The only thing I liked about this is that they continue to play on the quote unquote injured ribs of Ryback. I don't know if that's a real thing, right? Like I think right now WWE is doing a very good thing, being very good at playing up the injuries to a point where you're not sure, especially now. There's kind of less of an easy identifier. Oh, this is a real injury. Oh, this is a fake injury. You know what I mean? I think they're getting really good at that. Um, but nonetheless, Ryback wins. I think the only story I pulled away from this is that Ryback, despite what King Barrett threw at him, Ryback is able to push through the pain to defeat Barrett with the shell shock. Anything else about that match or those two characters that you wanted to discuss before we talk about the next segment?
No, let's keep this ball rolling.
All right. So the next segment is backstage. Triple H receives a call, and I'm assuming the call is coming from someone within the police. And the call basically tells him that Ambrose is on his way to Central Booking, and Triple H is elated because even if somehow Ambrose does get bailed out, there's absolutely no way he can make it back in time at the end of the show to sign the contract. And then the cast of Entourage greet the Authority, and one of them, I don't know who. Do you know who these people are?
No.
So the only one that's close to being a star, and I say close to being a star very loosely, is Jeremy Piven, and he doesn't even show up on this. He's busy doing something else. One of them asks about Dean Ambrose getting arrested, and Stephanie kind of begins to apologize for his actions. One of them even kind of talks about, and it might have been the same guy, kind of talks about how they're big fans of wrestling and what's going on now, and they kind of relate it to what happened at WrestleMania 31 / WrestleMania Play Button. And he says that he got his ass kicked by Ronda Rousey, but that was in a movie. Like that wasn't in real life. And basically Stephanie got bitched out by Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. And it's just very awkward because they're not happy and his cast members are not happy. They're like, why the fuck would you say that? And he's like, hey man, I'm just saying. She was gonna get that bitch in an armbar. And he even says it looked like she was gonna snap your arm in like 3 places, and then his co-stars quickly shuffle him away. As if like, shut your mouth, you're going to get us in trouble. We're going to lose those cool ringside seats. What did you think about this segment? Did you think the segment did anything to further any particular narrative?
Well, I mean, it did play to the promotion to the Entourage movie, but other than that, the only pop that they got was telling Stephanie that she got bitched out by Ronda. So,
does this, when they talk about Stephanie's interaction with Ronda, is this in the same vein of Triple H and The Rock almost hinting at a possible WrestleMania match and it not happening? Does that fall in the similar category, or am I just reading into it too much?
You're reading into it too much.
Damn you. All right. So let's talk about this next weird match that was good. It was weird. It was all sorts of things. Stardust versus Adrian Neville. Now, Papo, I think you've seen. I've seen some of it. I think I've seen all of the first season. Have you watched the TV show Arrow?
Yes, I've watched the first 2 seasons. Now I'm waiting on the 3rd season to be released on Netflix, which is taking forever.
So, for the benefit of those watching or listening that are unfamiliar with Arrow, can you kind of explain what Arrow is as a show, what it's based on, and what characters it revolves around?
Well, a rich boy goes on a yacht ride with his dad, which turns out to be a double cross. They put a bomb in the boat. The boat
Whoa! Spoilers! I meant like the main character. Like he's also
a rich boy, kind of like Batman with a bow and arrow.
But it's like a show based on DC Comics, and Arrow. The main guy is Arrow. He's the Green Arrow, right?
He's the Green Arrow.
All right. And the Green Arrow has a sidekick.
The Red Arrow.
The Red Arrow, right. And Stardust versus Adrian Neville. Adrian Neville's move is the
Red Arrow.
Oh shit, this is getting weird on so many levels. And you and I have talked about this before. Stardust is a very comic book centric, not character, but he's a big fan of comic books, right? And you and I have mentioned that before. He's kind of his entrance gear is kind of it evokes images of Mr. Sinister from Marvel, and Stardust has this weird interaction with this guy Stephen Amell, who's actually the star of Arrow. He's the guy that plays DC's character, the Green Arrow. Is this hinting at because this is weird. Am I just reading too much into this, or is this like a Marvel DC clash? Or is it just?
I saw it too.
Okay, good. I'm not alone. What did you think about this? Because it doesn't play on later on in the match. Like I expected that this guy would be involved in the finish, but he wasn't. Did this irritate you? Did this surprise you? Is this what you expected?
Well, I was expecting some sort of interaction with Stephen Amell and at least some sort of distraction or something. But we didn't get anything. I mean, it would have been perfect for him to go ahead and give a quick distraction so Neville can pull off the Red Arrow.
Did Oliver Queen fail this episode?
He failed this episode. Monday Night Filler.
Oh, man. I love it. If anybody hasn't seen Arrow, I strongly suggest you check it out. It is a cool show. Plus, there's a lot of hot pitches in that show. A lot of hot pitches.
Yeah.
All right, so since this is a wrestling show, let's talk about the actual match, shall we?
Let's keep moving.
We talked about Ryback versus Barrett and how the only thing that we liked about it was that Ryback was continuing to sell the injured ribs. We see the same thing here, and Neville's selling the injured left knee from a couple weeks ago. Quickly, did you like this? Did you not like it?
Again, this match here had potential to be awesome, but again, it lacked luster. It missed a lot of dynamic movement from Neville. I believe he's still nursing the knee, if you will.
Well, you know what it didn't miss? Your inspirational hero, Bo Dallas. I know you're a Bo Lieber, Pablo. Bo Dallas came out to offer Neville some words of encouragement. What did you think about that?
I think you should stick your thumb up your butt.
Oh, man. Okay. Neville wins with the Red Arrow. And then, again, so many layers. What did you think of... Oh, no, that's right. We just talked about that. I was kind of lacking something. Neville gets the win here. And I think it's an important distinction because Neville kind of needs the win, right? Like, Neville hasn't had a real earned victory. Like, he beat Barrett at the pay-per-view, but like he didn't really beat him. Barrett just didn't come back in the ring before the 10 count was up. Being that everybody's getting wins over Stardust, is Stardust now a jobber?
Stardust is now a jabroni. Sad to say.
Who's more of a jabroni? Stardust or R-Truth? Because R-Truth lost to Stardust because of spiders.
Yeah, but then the match after the rematch after that, R-Truth did beat Stardust, so it's 1-1.
Oh man, I don't.
So they're equal level jabronis.
So they're tied for jabroni of the year.
Equal opportunity jabronis.
I like that. After the match, more words of encouragement by Bo Dallas, and he attacks the injured left knee of Neville. Here's where I thought, aside from the finish of the match, that Arrow guy should come in the ring. Right? Because, he's a Green Arrow, Neville's got a Red Arrow thing going on, but it didn't happen. It's very weird, very empty. Like, they played it up as almost to expect something, and then it just never paid off. Now, speaking of things that weirdly don't pay off, the other cast members of Entourage chastise Jerry. It was Jerry that made that comment earlier to Stephanie about bringing up the Ronda Rousey incident, and they bump into the Total Divas, and look, they both promote each other's shows. This was kind of, como se dice, terrible?
Terrible.
I hated it. I'm going to be honest. Up until the very end of this particular segment, I was like, man, this is just shameless self-promotion.
All right. Tedski, can you say it? Terrible.
Terrible?
Terrible.
Oh, man.
There's no accent there, so.
Samoan word of the day. Now, here's where it actually gets better, right? Because I don't buy that either of these two groups watch each other's shows, right? Like, I don't even buy that. So Zack Ryder comes into the picture, and Jerry tells Zack Ryder that he has to do this thing, what this thing is. They're not saying what it is, but he has to do it because it's in his hometown of Long Island, and this is the last time WWE will be in the Nassau Coliseum before it gets torn down. And the rest of the Entourage cast go with Ryder into his locker room to kind of plan this particular event. I don't want to get into what that plan would be because we still have stuff to talk about. So let's talk about Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus for the... How many times have we seen this now? Good call. What numeric value was that? No? Okay.
You lagged out on me.
Oh, I was going to say that noise, does it have a numeric value, or is that just your feeling on the whole feud?
It's a feeling on the whole feud.
Right. So then let's cut to the chase and just talk about a couple of quick things, and then we'll go on to the U.S. Open Challenge. The first thing I notice here is that Lana's watching from the stage, and Papo, I don't know if you caught this. This is the second week in a row that Sheamus uses a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, and second week in a row, maybe even third week in a row, that Michael Cole has called this the Irish Curse backbreaker. That's an entirely different move. Did you catch this, or am I just paying too close attention?
I caught it, but I just didn't. I just kept on going because Michael Cole could stick his thumb up his butt.
Well, isn't it his job to know the names of these moves? I mean, it's not like he's never seen Sheamus wrestle before.
Yeah, but we also got to take into consideration there's two other people on the mic too that can actually make some sort of correction.
Yeah, they could have. Booker T could have been like, "That was a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, dog."
For real.
And then JBL could have been like, "He's twerking, Michael." So at some point, Rusev comes out and walks past Lana on his way to the ring, and then he tries to distract Dolph, but Dolph super kicks him, but Dolph turns right around into a brogue kick. So Dolph loses, and as fans of Dolph and Sheamus, the way this feud is being handled, do either of us care?
No.
So then after the match, Rusev enters the ring and attacks Ziggler while Lana watches, being unable to help. And Rusev puts Ziggler in the accolade, facing Lana while screaming at her, "Kiss him now." So it looks like the story they're trying to tell here is Lana's upset that Ziggler's in the move, but I gotta be honest, it didn't really look like Lana gave a shit. Like, she had, like, the sad face on, but she wasn't, like, trying to intervene. She wasn't trying to pull him off. Like, she didn't really care all that much.
I'm in total agreement with you, dude. She looked concerned, but actions speak louder than words.
You know what?
There was no
Something just occurred to me. We talked about last week about how Macho Mandow and Curtis Axel are redoing the implosion of the Mega Powers angle, and that Harper and Rowan would be the Twin Towers. Since she doesn't give that much of a fuck about Ziggler, Lana should be Miss Elizabeth. You're welcome.
Yo, call this man. He's got ideas. That's money right there. That's money.
Speaking of money, and money that could be made, but WWE just decides to leave it on the table, do you want to talk about the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge? Hello?
I'm sorry, you lagged out on me.
Oh, so we got the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge, right? And he comes out and he kind of puts over Kevin Owens here really well. Like, he talks about how no matter what, Cena has his haters, he has his detractors, and he has his fans, and that because of that dynamic, you get the Let's Go Cena sucks dueling chance. This Sunday, when he faces Kevin Owens, instead of Let's Go Cena, fight Owens' fight. Is this a good way? Is this John Cena effectively putting over Kevin Owens?
Yes, it is. Because right now, with this whole feud going, and it's starting to brew. It's like watching boiling water. You see the little bubbles at the bottom of the pot get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then once this thing explodes, it's gonna be magic. Match of the
Yeah,
year.
man. I'm definitely gonna yeah. I mean, you and I agreed that this is shaping up to be at least a contender for match of the year, and they could fuck it up, but the way that they're building it, I don't think they will. So the individual who answers John Cena's U.S. Open challenge is in fact woo woo
Woo,
woo.
woo,
You know
woo.
it. The Long Island Z, Zack Ryder. Papo, since we saw the members of the cast of Entourage talking to Zack Ryder in the back, did you expect that this is what they were talking about?
Yes and no. I knew they were going to have some sort of partake in a match, but I didn't know it was going to be the U.S. Open Challenge.
Okay. Can I be honest here?
Go ahead.
I felt like their plan was, and this is in my brain, Zack Ryder's, he's a guy in WWE. He's from Long Island. He knows where the police are going to be holding Ambrose. In my mind, since one of them had already shown interest in Ambrose talking to Stephanie, that they were going to have, the plan was to have Zack Ryder steal the contract and then take it to Ambrose in prison with a camera crew, or in jail with a camera crew, to show him that the contract had been signed. Would that have been a better idea than what they did here?
I'm going to up one you. What if
Do it.
Zack Ryder would have signed the contract himself?
Oh, shit. Fucking woo woo woo. That would have been, that would have been
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, woo,
Um,
woo, woo.
so this match wasn't bad. I liked it. What did you think about the Ryder attempting a 450 splash?
Wow. I did not expect that from Ryder. I mean, I've seen his moveset. I played his moveset on 2015, but where did that come from? He pulled that out of his underwear, if you will.
If you, I will. I thought that was amazing, right? I'm gonna be honest. I like Zack Ryder, right? I'm a Zack Ryder fan, and here's what I didn't like about the match, because what I'm taking away is that the whole point of the U.S. Open Challenge is to do a number of things, right? It's to take the to try and take the people that don't like Cena and at least have him earn their respect, because usually he's putting on arguably one of, if not the match of the night, week in, week out with this U.S. title. The second goal would be to kind of reestablish that the U.S. title is something of value, that it's not just an empty mid-card title. And thirdly,
To hold on. To piggyback off that,
yep,
it's to reestablish prestige to that belt.
boom. And thirdly, it's to kind of put over younger talent, right? Because Cena's getting, and he's not that old, right? I think Cena's like 37, right? So he's not that old, but he is kind of he's kind of moving on to this next stage in his career where he's putting over the younger talent. And so week after week after week, starting with Ambrose to Stardust to Neville to everybody and anybody, and there's a couple more, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. Anybody and everybody that's faced John Cena in this U.S. Open Challenge has, each one of them has kicked out of his attitude adjustment. Zack Ryder, though, doesn't kick out of the attitude adjustment. Now, Papo, it's Zack Ryder. He's in Long Island. It's his hometown in an arena that's not going to be there in the near future. If they wanted to do something to make Zack Ryder to present Zack Ryder as being important, it only takes one thing, right? It only takes like one event to kind of make him relevant. Uh, Having him kick out of the attitude adjustment would have made him seem a little less like a jobber, right?
Definitely, it establish his spot at mid card level that he can actually push forward to the main roster
And
and then get him pushed over.
And it's believable, right? Because Zack Ryder is at least a one-time former U.S. champion.
Correct.
But no, WWE is not interested in making Zack Ryder relevant, especially in his hometown, in a building that's no longer going to exist. I can literally picture Vince saying, "Pay no attention to the man from Long Island." I hated that. As okay as this match was, as cool as the 450 splash was, I felt like in wrestling, things can be not important, and then all it takes is one little thing to take someone from the back burner and put them into a position where they're important. And this, to me, just kind of screams of what they really feel about Zack Ryder. Like, how dare he get over, and how dare he, try to be important.
Poo-poo.
Yeah. I'll tell you what was great about this, though, is that Ryder's celebrating, and you know what? One of the cast members actually tries to get in the ring with Cena, or excuse me, does get in the ring with Cena, and kind of distracts him long enough for Zack Ryder to try a roll-up. Even that would have been really impressive, right? Not that he could beat Cena effectively, but at least he could get a win over Cena.
It would have definitely slingshotted Zack Ryder's career.
So after the match, Ryder's celebrating in the ring with the cast of Entourage, and Cena is attacked by none other than Kevin Owens, who's actually got new gear. He's got new shorts, and he's wearing a new Fight Owens Fight shirt. And once again, he lays Cena out with a pop-up powerbomb and stomps on the U.S. title. I fucking loved this. I'm so hyped for this match. It's ridiculous.
I'm in total agreement. I'm waiting for this. This is going to it's going to turn out to be a grudge match. I love a grudge match.
So we're gonna start moving quickly because we're running out of time here. There's a backstage segment where Stephanie tells Triple H that she's super impressed with Owens, but Rollins is like, yeah, he's great, but I'm the future here, and I'm your champion, so fuck that guy. And let's see. Oh, let's talk about Tamina versus Paige with the Bella Twins on commentary. First, how awful are the Bella Twins as faces?
Horrible.
Yeah, they're the least likely people on the planet, least likable people on the planet. What did you think about the actual match?
It sucked.
Did it suck, or did Michael Cole being more interested in the Bellas give the impression that it sucked?
Michael Cole made it suck. Tamina and Paige made it suck. The in-ring performance sucked. This match, it sucked.
Hashtag give Divas a chance, man.
Hashtag did. Hashtag these bitches fucked up.
Hashtag no one gives a fuck. Yeah, I have in my notes here that it's too bad that Michael Cole is too busy to call a Divas match, which WWE must feel is of somewhat important, because they gave it a fucking hashtag. It was like hashtag Tamina versus Paige or something like that. But in the end, Tamina Snuka wins with the Samoan drop after interference by Naomi. Don't care. Now, let's talk about the New Day. I know you're a big fan of the New Day, and they cut a very entertaining in-ring promo, and they're basically saying that they're being persecuted for being positive, and that by being made to defend their titles in the tag team Elimination Chamber match against 5 other tag teams. Kane comes out and informs them that the New Day being in that chamber match is actually pretty fair odds, because they're going to be sharing the same odds as every other team, 1-6. Kane also informs them that they will compete in a 10-on-3 handicap match, which will start now. So it's New Day versus Kid and Cesaro, Primetime Players, Los Matadors, The Ascension, and the Lucha Dragons. Now, not much happened, so I just want to quickly run through it and then get your thoughts afterwards. Cool?
Run through that.
After about a minute or two, Xavier Woods gets cocky, right? And what is it? Fucking half the Lucha Dragons. Kalisto. He's got Kalisto in a headlock, and he gets cocky and goes into the opposing team's corner and says, "You can't do nothing about me. You can't touch me." Literally, like, all 9 of those guys come off the apron into the ring and just proceed to beat the shit out of him. The ref calls for the bell. New Day win by disqualification, and chaos just ensues, right? And in the end, it leaves Kid and Cesaro standing tall. Was this, because this actually technically ended up being the main event match, was this kind of underwhelming for a main event?
Welcome to Monday Night Filler.
Oh, man. All right, so there's a sneak peek of the Daniel Bryan Just Say Yes, Yes, Yes DVD. And then Michael Cole shows us footage on a YouTube channel, apparently, that Ambrose, when he punched the cameraman, it was because Seth Rollins pushed the cameraman into Dean Ambrose. Did this matter to you at all? Did you expect that to be the case?
Well, I didn't expect it, but in the initial video, Dean Ambrose turned around, looked, and then punched. I could understand if he just turned around and punched, but he turned and looked first and then punched. So he could
Okay.
have seen Rollins behind the camera dude.
Hey man, he's a lunatic fringe. He doesn't think things through. He just sees a face and wants to punch it. That's what I took away from it. And he's like, "Oh shit, that was not the face I was supposed to punch." So we're going to talk about this Authority in Ring segment. Before we do, just a couple of quick things. Right, we're getting to the end of our Raw review. So if you haven't already liked, comment, and subscribe, fucking do that. You're a grown man or woman or whatever. I hope you should be, because bad language happens here. And if you're a child, get your parents' permission before doing this. On top of that, go to the fucking Facebook page. Email us your goddamn questions. Go to the Patreon page. Help us out. If you're interested. If not, you can just be a cheap ass, and that's okay too. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to talk about the main event segment, not the actual main event match. And then we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the fugly. And we're going to get into our predictions for Elimination Chamber. So stay tuned. Hang in there with us. I know it's a lot, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. Now, Papo, you ready for the main event segment?
Let's do this.
So, what is that from? I know that. Is that like the Jeff Hardy music? Right?
Tone Loc.
Oh.
Wild Thing.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. I'm way off. I'm way off by like 30 years. Okay, so, wow, Papo, you were kind of grown, and I was just a baby when that song came out.
Yeah.
Telling you, Samoans age really well. So Seth Rollins comes out with the Authority and says the footage doesn't matter because Ambrose assaulted another employee, and that's just fucking inexcusable, right? Kind of to the point that you were making a few moments ago. And Stephanie kind of plays the victim card in place of the actual victim, and she says, hey, man, the guy's got kids. He's a father. He doesn't need that shit. Being that Brock Lesnar assaulted a cameraman recently, should they just have better health insurance for cameramen?
I don't even think they offer health insurance.
Dude, that's terrible. That's terrible. Get these men better insurance. Oh no, he's not just a father. He's got triplets, and she basically implies that they have a zero tolerance policy, and it's what they need to do to create a safe working environment. And she says that this is all she's able to say because her lawyers are telling her that she shouldn't say more, but it's still an ongoing investigation. Triple H says that they're willing to give Ambrose a chance at the title despite his mental state, but he's nowhere to sign the contract, and he's got to sign the contract by the end of the night because, MacGuffins. That happens. And he's about to announce that Ambrose will officially forfeit his title opportunity when your boy, the Samoan super punching machine, Roman Reigns.
Super Uso!
So he comes in, he attacks Seth Rollins, and things get crazy. And then Stone Cold Dean Ambrose comes back driving the paddy wagon he was taken out in, wearing like a police hat, jacket, and he's got 2 nightsticks. He hands one of them off to Roman Reigns, and then they beat up Seth Rollins with it. And then Ambrose signs the contract, and Dean, and then that's it. And then Raw goes off the air. What did you think about this segment and this kind of borderline Stone Cold Dean Ambrose gimmick?
Well, you forgot the fact that Ambrose did sign the contract.
I did not say that?
Nope.
Oh, well, Ambrose signed the contract. Boom. I just did it. What do you think about
that? Okay, cool. All right, so let's go into our predictions.
All right. Are we doing? I forgot. Are we doing the predictions first or the good, bad, and the fugly?
The predictions first.
All right. So as of right now, there's only 5 matches as of the time I made the notes. There's only 5 matches announced. So first match, Adrian Neville versus Bo Dallas. Papa, who you got winning this match?
I got Neville.
Oh man, you know what? Yeah, like I really want Bo Dallas to actually.
Oh yeah.
I really want Bo Dallas to get a win here, but I just know that ain't fucking happening. Yeah, I got Neville going over. And then the next one I have here is champion versus champion match. I'm assuming neither title is up for grabs. They just happen to be champions. It's Cena versus Owens. This one's going to be a little bit more complicated. Papa, who you got going over, or do we even get a clean finish here?
I don't even think we get a clean finish, but if we do get a clean finish, I'm going to go with Kevin Owens.
I'm going to say that Samoa Joe might show up at the Elimination Chamber.
Don't tease me like that.
Dude, no spoilers, but that kind of happened at NXT. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Yeah, I'm going to defer. I can't choose. Like, I see a reason for each guy winning, right? I see the point for Cena to win because Cena's a main roster guy. Kevin Owens is not, right? But I could also see the point in having Kevin Owens win because since there's no title on the line, he can beat Cena, and Cena can still hold that U.S. title and still continue to do the Open Challenge. So in my mind, I could see it. I could equally see it going either way, but I think you're more likely to have like a non-finish, and this is just something to get people to subscribe and put asses in seats. Next up, we have the oh shit. You know what I forgot to put in here, Pablo? I forgot to put in the tag team title match. So let's do that quickly. It's the Elimination Chamber tag team titles match. New Day versus Kid and Cesaro versus Primetime Players versus Los Matadors versus El Torito versus the Ascension versus the Lucha Dragons. Who wins this match?
I'm going to go with Primetime Players.
I'd like to see that too, but I'm going to say New Day retains. And then maybe New Day and Primetime Players will feud afterwards. Or maybe Primetime Players are about to win because they mentioned it's single elimination. Right? So if one guy from their team loses, they're both eliminated. So I would be... I'd imagine that Primetime Players make it to the end, but I'm going to say New Day retains. Then we have the Triple Threat Divas title match. Nikki Bella versus Paige versus Naomi.
I'm going to go with Naomi.
Yeah, man. I'm with you on that. Intercontinental title chamber match. Rusev versus Truth versus Sheamus versus Ryback versus Barrett versus Ziggler for the vacated IC title.
I'm going to go with Rusev.
Oh, man. You and I are on the same page right here. Yeah, man. I'm going to go with Rusev, too. And then we have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title match. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose.
Rollins retains.
Yeah, man. I'd love to see Dean Ambrose win here and just do like an upset victory, but I really don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. All right, Papo. I think you know what it's time for.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ted Ski and Papo's Wrestling Exchange proudly brings to you the good, the bad, and the fugly.
All right, Papo. Hit the music.
It sounds like some 70s porno music.
Hey, man.
So, Tedski, you're starting us off today. What was your good, your bad, and your fugly?
Oh, shit, man. I'm starting it off? It's going to be rough. All right. I was expecting you to go first, so I'd have a minute here. Okay, so the good is easy, right? My good is that Rusev and Lana segment where he's begging to have her back, only to tell her that she needs to admit that she's wrong. That was my good. My bad was the cast of Entourage guest hosting Raw. I mean, that's let me tell you, that's so bad. It's up there with fucking Grumpy Cat. My fugly is the subliminal burial. I guess that wouldn't be the right way to put it. It's the subconscious burial of Zack Ryder, being that everybody else gets to kick out of Cena's finish in this series, but Zack Ryder does not, especially a guy who's in his hometown, in an arena that will no longer exist. And this could be a memory to, and this is something I thought of too, this could be a memory to give the fans. They're like, I was there when Zack Ryder beat John Cena for the U.S. title in the Nassau Coliseum the last time they were there. But no, they don't give a shit. So that's my good, bad, and fugly, man. Hit me. What do you got?
Usually, when we do our good and bad and fugly skit, we usually have some things in common, but my good and bad and fugly are not even close to yours.
Oh man, I really want to know now.
Okay, my good was Kevin Owens' power bomb to John Cena
For the
in
second
that
week in a
ring.
row?
For the second week in a row, it was awesome. And then stomping on the belt. That was my good.
That's a good one to have.
My bad was Stephen Amell not interfering in the Neville match.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good bad to have. Okay, what's your fugly?
My fugly was everything to do with the Divas match with Tamina and fucking Paige. That whole match was horrible. Michael Cole on commentary, horrible. The Bella Twins on commentary, horrible. Tamina and Paige's in-ring performance, horrible. Just completely fugly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for another episode 53 of Ted and Papa's Wrestling Exchange. My name is Ted. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Go to the Facebook page. Visit our Patreon page. Email us your questions. Papa, or anything else you got to add before we get this motherfuckers out of here?
Keep watching. Thank you for watching now. Ted and Papa, we love you. Be safe.
Vince McMahon, you have failed this city.